You know who I studied a lot? Who I was a fan of when I first got into comedy, and I'm a fan of them still to this day. I just saw he's doing a show. The brothers from St. Louis.
The Wayans brothers?
No, the other brothers. You're friends with the young...
Oh, the Tories.
The Tories.
Guy and Joe.
Oh, my God.
Oh, they're great.
Joe was the warm-up for Def Jam. We were coming up.
Joe was the only guy that I ever saw kill and be yoked at the same time. This motherfucker would go on stage with like a vest on, built like Mike Tyson, just jacked, and he would kill. I don't know how he did it. Like, I don't know, he's not even remotely self-conscious. Jamar Neighbors can do it too. Jamar Neighbors goes on stage shirtless and he's fucking shredded. And it's funny. It works.
I miss Jamar Neighbors.
I love Jamar Neighbors.
Where is he?
He's back in L.A.
Oh, I thought he
guess.
was down here with you guys.
No, he came out. He spent some time here. He did the podcast like a year and a half ago. He's I love that dude.
All right,
he's a legit boxer. You know, Jamar Neighbors can box.
I didn't know that.
He showed me video of him fighting. He's had amateur fights. Jamar Neighbors can crack. No bullshit. No bullshit. He can box.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's where that body's from. He does all these crazy calisthenics. If you go on his Instagram, I think he's got all his crazy workouts he does. That dude's in serious shape.
He looks strong as fuck.
He's shredded. You see him on his Instagram? He's got like a video put up of him doing stand-up with a mohawk. He glues a mohawk to his head.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking ripped. Like, this is him boxing. That's Jamar. Dude, he's good, man. He's like a good amateur boxer. He's very fast, too. I mean, how old is Jamar? He's got to be in his late 30s, right?
No. I thought he was a little younger than that, right?
How old is he?
I don't know.
I've known him forever.
I don't know.
He's got to be 35, right? 37.
37.
Yeah,
Wow.
so there
I
you
thought
go.
he was a little younger, 33, 32.
He's a good boxer, though. So it's very rare that but Guy Torrey was the first guy that I ever saw that went on stage with like a vest on. I was like, what? Look at him. There's Jamar. He's shredded.
White slavery.
He's wearing a Nazi hat. Look how shredded Jamar is. I mean, that's
Holy
ridiculous.
shit.
I'm telling you, he goes on stage looking like that and he kills.
Malachi. I like that name.
He's just a fun dude to be around. But find Guy Torrey.
Dog, I still remember one of his bits.
Or Joe Torre.
Joe Torre.
Joe Torre's
Torre's
jacked.
bit when he warmed up. Him, fucking Martin Lawrence. That was a hell of a lineup,
Dude, that was my worst bombings of all time when I had to follow Martin Lawrence at the store. Over and over and over again.
And I'm going to tell you who the best performance...
Yeah, there's Joe.
I'm going to tell you the best performance ever on fucking Def Jam. D.L. Hughley as a host. When he got a standing ovation. I never saw anything like that in my life.
Yeah, how about...
As a host, got a standing... ripped the fucking room apart. I will never forget that. Joe Torre, hey, ready for Joe Torre? Yeah. I got a brother who's one of those save the whale motherfuckers. But I'm thinking about getting a gun. I'm dying to shoot a motherfucker, man. I could see me with a gun hanging outside an ATM machine with a tuxedo on. Come out of the bushes, I'm going to shoot you. Something about fucking buying a gun, and he wanted to shoot somebody, so he would hang out at an ATM with a tuxedo on every night. I fucking loved that joke. And one night I said it to him, and he's like, man, I haven't heard that in years. That's great. You just reminded me. Him and his brother were good dudes.
You ever think about dudes who didn't make it where you can't understand how? Like, where you're like, God damn, that guy was good. Like, what the fuck? I always use Reggie McFadden. Reggie McFadden is
Where
like
is Reggie?
I do not know. I think he got into real estate or something. But Reggie McFadden in like 1992, when I was living in New York, my friend John Tobin was opening up for Reggie at the Champagne Comedy Club. The Champagne Comedy Club was this dude who was hilarious, this old school black dude who owned it. He was like, no motherfuckers. Like, he had rules. He goes, you don't say the bitch had a big ass. You say the woman had a wide behind. And he would like tell guys how to talk comedy. But it didn't matter with Reggie because Reggie's act was clean. And I'm telling you, this motherfucker murdered. I was in this room watching him. John had gone up, he brought him up, and we sat and watched Reggie. And he murdered. I mean, to the point where I was like, I'm looking at the next Eddie Murphy. I'm looking at the next superstar. Like, this is a can't go wrong talent. He had this joke about meeting a pretty girl and she's got an ugly friend that you can't shake, and he has the ugly girl smashed through his window, and he's physical, so he burst through the window on stage, like, where are you? And it was just like he was so funny, man. He was so talented, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
People change. People see things they don't want to do. Corey Miller was one of those guys.
What happened with him?
Little Zoo, remember? Corey?
Yeah, but what happened with him?
He just went back to raise his kid.
Wow.
In Atlanta. He still does comedy. Still does comedy in Atlanta. I know somebody saw him at a college and he said to say hello to me. People just change their priorities, man. It happens all the fucking time. You know, you think about the two dudes who were in Guns N' Roses. The one guy, Izzy, that just left. What does he feel like today? You know, didn't you have a guy on from Soundgarden here?
Jason Everman. Yeah.
Jason Everman. He was he original guy or?
He was in Nirvana.
Okay.
And then he got kicked out of Nirvana, and he was in Soundgarden, and he got kicked out of Soundgarden.
How do you think he feels today?
He was not very happy.
No.
Well, now he's happy. Now he's fine. I mean, he's a very much at peace guy.
Well, you
very
make
intelligent
peace,
guy.
but
he's also had a very fascinating life. I mean, he's a special forces guy, and did tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, multiple tours in Afghanistan, went to Columbia, got a degree at Columbia. He's a brilliant guy. So I think he's a very thoughtful person, and his path was a great path for him. But at the time, he felt like total dog shit.
They just honored the guy from the original bass player from Soundgarden. And he was on the first two albums. I always wondered what happened to that fucking dude and how they feel now that they had an opportunity to be in this monster of a band, you know.
Isn't that the craziest thing about artists, guys like Chris Cornell, who is so fucking talented and so universally loved, and still takes his own life? That just shows you how fragile mental health is and people's states of mind, and how you could just not see the thing. I mean, that motherfucker was beloved. His voice was fucking insane. It had so much power.
He's a really fucking talented
Spoon
guy.
Man?
Oh, come on.
Are you kidding me?
And the
I remember one time you
shit.
and I were listening to Spoon Man. Remember I had that Suburban with all the big speakers in it and shit?
Yes.
We were sitting in it was a Denali. It was a Yukon Denali.
Denali.
And we were sitting in the Denali in the Comedy Store parking lot just jamming to Spoon Man. Spoon Man! And you were screaming, if you don't like this song, you're not real, cocksucker. You don't like Spoon Man. Are you out of your fucking mind? You were just